for Stone Cold Loki! It's time for 7 Kinds of Mischief!
Man, I don't know how you do that. I don't know how you... Backstage, we're all calm and talking, and I'm just sitting there rambling on, and this is why we're late, because Loki's going, yeah, just listening to me rambling on. He's all calm about things. You turn the music on, and all of a sudden that voice, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you do it.
It's funny. We were doing the comic book roundtable last night, and I was like, I'd love doing that live. And Clive goes, "You do that live?" I'm like, "Well, yeah. You do it every time?" "Well, yeah." "I didn't know you did that." "Well, yeah, of course I do. It's live. I like to do it live." And good evening, everyone.
Love it.
Oh yeah, my neighbors love it. They're gonna love it when I'm gone, because they're gonna get someone in here that's worse than they are. You think I'm bad? They have to hear that like maybe once or twice a day. They're booming bullshit that vibrates my floor. I have to deal with that all the time. So I'm hoping that whoever the hell moves in here is 10 times worse than I am. I really do.
The mark of charity.
They asked me when we put in our notice, they were like, "Is there any way we can convince you, to save the energy and time of having to move and blah, blah, blah?" I was like, nope. Nope.
Hello, everybody.
Good evening, everybody. How are you doing? I'd love to see everybody here. Lady Miss, good evening. Leia Rose is here. Lady Miss, the Guardian of the Void, is here. Chris Verge, the Wrench of Wrenches, is here. Good evening, Chris. Apollome's Minion. Hello, Apollome and Puppers. Good evening, you two. How are you doing? Ronald Maglio. I think that I know that. I know that name. Who is that? It's DJ Ronnie G. I knew that. I knew who that was. What's up? What's up? What's going on, guys? Pat S is here. Good evening, Pat. How are you doing? Good to see everybody here. Claude Saline is here. Good evening. Good evening. Oh, man. It has been a crazy day. It has been an absolutely crazy day for me.
Well, it's a good day. It's a good day.
So I've been running around like a chicken with my head cut off all day.
I was telling Loki earlier, one of the benefits of being a doc, I'm retired, so I don't get these benefits. And plus my wife always got more gifts than I did, especially around Christmas time. Patients would bring in all kinds of goodies and stuff. Well, she had recently saved a guy from surgery, some serious back surgery. And she got paid, but she also got paid in a massive quantity of beef. Organic fed local beef, freshly butchered, and oh my word, I made some hamburgers out of some of the ground beef tonight. Yeah, unless you get it like that, when you get it at the store, it's just not even compared. So yeah, that was my day. I know your day was pretty busy.
Running around like a chicken with my head cut off. It was funny. So I finished the morning stream this morning, and as soon as I finished, I got a call from Eris saying she had an accident, and I was like, "Oh my God, are you all right?" My heart's going, and she's like, "Yeah, I didn't get in a car accident." I was like, "Well, son of a bitch." That's what it sounded like. I was like, "Shit, all right, so you're okay?" She's like, "Yeah, I slipped in the mud, and I dropped my phone, and it hit a rock, and it broke the screen of her new phone. So I had to go and her brand new phone that I just got her for Christmas. The screen shattered, So I had to go. The only place that had the parts to fix it were all the way in downtown. So I had to run, but it was cool because I called. I was about 10 minutes away from 24/7 Fusion, so I called him and I was like, "What are you doing?" And he was like, "Nothing, man. What you doing?" I was like, "Well, I'm like 10 minutes away. If you want to go have lunch." So I went and picked him up and took him out to lunch, and we hung out a little bit. Went to the comic book shop, Bedrock City Comics, while I was waiting on that phone to get fixed. So it's just crazy. Absolutely crazy day. I didn't get back till like 25 minutes before the show, right when I set the stream up. So I just ran in here. I got a drink. I ran in here, set the stream up, and sent the link to Adega, and here we are.
There you go. Now, I see someone in chat, and I should know who this person is. I think they're in disguise. St. Florida Fentanyl, baby. I should know who you are. I think you're someone in disguise.
From the bowels of hell.
Yep. And then Pat S., I never overcook anything unless it's per request.
And good evening, Brandon. He said, "What's up, Loki?" What's up, Brandon? Good to see you. Good to see you, my man. I am working on that short. Today got crazy. I've got like a Looney Tunes DVD short I'm gonna make, and I'm gonna shout you out, brother. So thank you for the channel shout outs. I'm gonna get your shout out up. It was supposed to be today, but I was out all day. So I will get there, I promise.
Which reminds me, Drunk 3PO is making another pirate thing. Are you gonna get recruited again?
I have no idea. I know at some point I'm gonna do like a podcast thing with him. At some point, he asked me if I'd do it. I was like, "Cool, that's great, awesome,
cool." All right, I cheated. I sent you something else. We'll get to that video I sent you, but I just sent you another image.
Okay, hold on. Let's see. Messages on. Oh my! What is that? Let's share that.
It is. Well, according to the article, now we're gonna have fun with this. This is supposedly taken from Egypt, an archaeological find. This is a mummified finger. Now, here's how we can disprove it. First off, when things get mummified, they look a little different than that, regardless of size. You've seen various different mummified mammoths, different conditions. They do get black. The bones do change that color, but basically the meat of things isn't that thin. And also, all you have to do is look at the guy's shirt. There is no archaeologist in all of Egypt that is going to be wearing that shirt and sitting there like that with that. So you see things like this, and they say, "Oh yeah, this is verified." This is a load of hooey. Someone made that in their garage.
That's crazy.
So I thought that'd be fun to see. Yeah, just things to look at.
It's like a giant rabbit's foot.
Yeah, but they're trying to claim it's a finger, and if that were true, that would be someone who was over 30 feet tall. But nah, that's right.
Kaiju.
You
know, it's funny. Right. If you ever watch the go back and rewatch the original Conan movie. Most people don't realize just how big Crom was. That helmet is as big as Conan. That helmet, just the guy's helmet, is as big as Conan.
Wow.
That's crazy.
I don't think I ever watched it all the way through. I might have, but it's been years and years.
When he's in the tomb and he finds that sword of Atlantean and he's like, Crom. When the giant's helmet falls off, the dead giant that he gets the sword from, that helmet rolling past Conan is as big as Conan.
I almost remember that scene. It's been a long time. It's not something I watch every day. That's cool. All right, ladies and gentlemen, what I did have for you is two different things besides being able to look at the little details to spot fakes. The first one is interesting. I don't know how to take it. The story seems a little embellished. Don't worry about the video just yet. I want to
Okay.
read something to you. Odd, but we do have some video stuff, and you guys will have to determine for yourself whether you believe it or you don't. I have my own opinion. Petrified angel or alien encounter? Mysterious discovery in Russia stirs controversy. In a small village in Russia, a shocking discovery was made by two stone quarry workers that have since sparked debate and discussions among experts and the general public alike. The workers stumbled upon a petrified being that resembles an angel with wings, perfectly preserved in stone. According to the workers, they immediately called the authorities to report their findings, but when the officials arrived, they found only the workers' mobile phones, which contained a video of the petrified angel in detail. The workers themselves had vanished, along with the petrified being. The video was later leaked to the public, and it has been a source of much speculation and theories. When people disappear, stuff like that kind of makes me think it's a fake. The petrified angel is said to be around 6 feet tall and has an intricately carved wings and serene expression on its face. The level of detail and preservation of the stone figure is remarkable and has left experts scratching their heads. Some believe that the petrified angel could be an ancient statue, possibly created by an unknown civilization, while others think it could be evidence of extraterrestrial life. The sudden disappearance of the workers and the petrified angel has only added fuel to the fire of speculation. The authorities have yet to release any official statement on the matter, and this was all released a couple months ago. And it remains a mystery. The petrified angel is, if it does indeed exist, could hold the key to unlocking secrets of our past or providing evidence of the existence of otherworldly beings. In conclusion, the discovery of the petrified angel in Russia has created a stir in the scientific community and has captured the imagination of people around the world. The truth behind the mysterious findings remains to be seen, and we can only hope that further investigation will shed light on the matter, which I would think the first thing would be to do is go into that quarry and continue to dig and see if there's anything else there. However, all we have besides that, and some translations that you can look up, is a short little video that's only it's about a minute long, and then we'll stop it there because there's another video immediately after that. It's totally kind of unrelated subject. So whenever you're set, let's let the people see what this thing looks like.
All right, I am working on it. Give me just 1 second. Share. Hold on, I'm gonna pull this down. Share screen. All right, here we go.
Блин. Вот это да. Короче, разрыли экскаватором такую, ну я скажу, эмоции просто не рассказать. Душа куда-то аж упрыгивает. Не знаю, конечно, не описать. Это просто не рассказать, почему так. Что это такое? Ну там сейчас на вертолете прилетят все эти дела. И вот пока не приехали все эти товарищи, мы вот тут с ребятами вырвались. Ребята, это вообще трындец. Какие эмоции. Андрей, Денис, сними меня.
All right. So all of that is supposed to have disappeared, but there are people claiming that's what they dug up. For me, I personally think someone had done some really good plaster Paris and made a hoax. If it is a real statue that they dug up, they could have ran off thinking that they're going to make a ton of money. If it's anything supernatural, well, that's up to you to believe or not believe. Me personally, I tend to believe this is something totally man-made or woman made, or however you want to say it. But it's interesting, and it has a bunch of people baffled about it. So there you go. Just a little something to keep you guessing. The second one is, you guys have, some of you probably seen this already. It comes out of South America. There are some really, really good images of this. I was only able to get one that's a 780p. But there is some Ultra 4K. It was filmed in Ultra 4K. And it was a pilot in a small plane and caught this video. You want to see a better analysis of this video, I think Secure Team 10, if you guys ever follow him, he does some great work. He has that on his, I think it's his most recent video. But I wanted to bring this with you because this one really fascinates me. This one looks real to me. I haven't been able to find any errors in it. And again, when you get to the Ultra 4K, it's pretty impressive. So it's short. It's shorter than the other one. And you may want to pause it as soon as the screen freezes so people can get a good look at it. But you'll see him, he's filming in the cockpit, and then something comes up on him. And like I said, it's pretty cool. So whenever you're set.
Oops, I hit the wrong button. I don't have anything else.
It's second half of that. It's on the same video. It's right after the angel.
Okay, hold on. Aha.
Made it easy. At least I thought I did.
Okay. Aha.
– There's no sound. The 4K one does have sound. You can hear the guy talking in the plane. Just go ahead and wait. Keep going. There. That looks cool.
It looks like the alien on what's that movie? Flight of the Navigator.
Kind of does, doesn't it? Kind of does. But that was one heck of a clip. Like I said, you want a better analysis of it, you can go to various other sources. And there is an Ultra 4K. So this one it's on the blurry side of things, but there are much better quality of this one. And I tend to think that this one is dead on real. Most of the time I don't get fooled, but this one looks pretty dang real to me. Yeah, flying stingray, almost, yeah. I wondered if it was like a sports model of the flying triangles, if our military's gotten into more of an art form, making them more a little aesthetically appealing, or if this is some type of molded composite to where there's no seams on it. It flies better. It holds up better. I don't know. But either way, that's a beast, and I think it's cool.
That is crazy. And the movement on it is crazy too.
Yeah, it looks like it's dodging the plane, like it's coming right at it and says, you know what, I better bank and turn.
Anything going that fast would have to know way ahead of the time what it needs to do.
Yeah, because that plane, it's a double prop, so I imagine it's probably flying at about 160 miles an hour. So anything coming at it from a standstill is at least coming at it from 160. And if that thing, you saw the distance it made from the cloud to where it is now, it must have been hitting 400 miles an hour. So you multiply that, it was coming at him really, really quick, and it knew how to get out of the way.
That's impressive.
Yep. So there you go. I just wanted to show you a couple of freaky things that I picked up over the week and thought you guys might enjoy seeing.
All right. Thank you, Rodega.
Yeah, you bet. Anytime.
Thank you, my friend. All right. So I got a little story for you guys tonight. This is the first time I've ever told anyone the story, and it may be the last. The year was 1994. I was a 15-year-old who lived in a small town mainly dominated by churchgoers and elderly couples who didn't get along too well. So there was never much to do. Only things that captured my attention were video games. They were pretty basic at the time, but my family wasn't well off enough to purchase such a luxury as a home gaming system. It was the middle of summer when talk started to spread of a penny arcade moving into the building where the old videotape store was. My friend and I, we'll call him Chris, were beyond excited, seeing as it was a much more economically friendly option for us and our parents to get a chance to play video games. Straight out of my gaming magazines, the posters all around town, all bright and playful, detailed that the arcade was to open Sunday at 9 a.m., which was incredibly convenient because Chris and I had already planned to sleep over that night. I brought my magazines to Chris's because his mom wasn't willing to spend money on gimmicks like that. We stayed up in the early hours of the morning flipping through them over and over until we had drilled every game made to date into our heads. Eventually, we both passed out on the floor, lights on, magazines out, and our minds full of wonder. I woke to the sound of Chris's mom leaving for her weekly church service, looked to the wall and read the clock, 8:06 a.m., wanting to get there early so we could be first in line. I woke up Chris and told him to get ready. We both took showers, changed out of yesterday's attire and into something fresh. Snagged some change that Chris's mom had left for us on the kitchen counter. Before we ran out of the door, I looked at the clock, 8:47. Took us about 10 minutes to walk there. When we approached the line up at the door, there were only a handful of people there. No kids our age, just some older social rejects who had nothing better to do. We jumped into line to secure our spots as the fourth and fifth people to enter the arcade. We kept our eyes against the arcade front window to block our eyes from the sun, and what we saw blew our 15-year-old minds. Rows and rows of arcade machines. Something caught my eye, though. 2 large double doors with the writing, virtual reality experience. To hear those words, virtual and reality, in the same sentence back then made absolutely no sense. So it intrigued us to the point of making it our top agenda for what to do at 9 o'clock when the doors opened. The arcade game sprung to life in a fantastic display of lights and color, and the doors opened. A bald man with a scar on the side of his head walked out and gestured to the small lineup that we could now enter. As I walked past him, he gave me a blank stare that gave me an extremely uneasy feeling. We continued through the doors and into the fantastic space full of lights and sound that excited Chris and I even more. Without saying a word, we ran to the large double doors and pushed them open. They were surprisingly light, and we both stumbled into the room. There was a bald woman with a scar on her head standing next to a table with multiple bulky circular gadgets on it. We both stood up straight, slightly embarrassed, and proceeded towards her. She held out her left hand and silently pointed to the paper on the table with her right. 2 quarters per play for the most immersive gaming experience of this day and age. Fight off the alien race that is attacking the moon base. You are the Earth's only hope. Chris took out his mom's coins and handed over $1 in exchange to the bald woman. She blankly took the money and grabbed one of the bulky circular gadgets on the table, gesturing for us to do so as well. We both grabbed one and watched as she placed it on her head, surrounding it like a helmet. We went to do the same, but she gestured for us not to. She went through a side door and came back with 2 Star Wars blaster-looking devices. Chris and I excitedly snagged them from our hands and examined them in awe. They were surprisingly heavy. The woman pressed a button and a thick metal door slid open. She walked through it, and we followed attentively. Walking down a flight of stairs, we came to a long, narrow hallway, which led to even more stairs. We came into an incredibly large room. Other than a black and red striped door on the other side of it, the walls of the entire room were covered in an opaque glass-like substance. Chris and I shot each other excited glances and proceeded to the middle of the room. The woman helped us equip the helmets and blasters. We couldn't see anything. Thinking this was some sort of joke, I was about to take off my helmet when it came to life. The screen inside the helmet lit up, and I looked around to see a totally different place than the strange room we had been in before. We were on the moon, outside a building with Canadian flags on it. I looked at Chris, and he was in an astronaut suit, bearing the same blaster I had. I heard a screech ring out through my helmet that made Chris and I jump. Sound on the moon? Wow, it was a video game. We turned toward the origin of the horrible sound to see what I can only describe as a true monster. It was lanky and crawled on 4 legs. My first thought was that its face was made up of only 2 deep black holes, presumed to be eyes. It looked sickly and injured as it moved towards the 2 of us. Its face opened up to form a mouth that bore rows of razor-sharp teeth. It paused in its advance and stood up on its hind legs, exposing claws that looked as if they could slice through human flesh like butter. It lunged towards me with surprising speed. I froze. Time felt slow as I watched the monster gracefully soar through the air towards me, mouth open, claws outstretched. It was suddenly and violently knocked to one side as a rod of red fire blew a chunk of it out and sent it flying. I looked at Chris and saw his barrel smoking. This brief moment of surprise was interrupted by more shrieks from other monsters rising in the distance. Shaken up from almost losing the game in its first moments, it took me a second to understand the situation. Protect the space station. Kill the monsters. Stay alive. Oh, what fun. A burst of adrenaline hit me as the monsters came into view over the craters and hills. They were at least 20. They weren't crawling like the last one. They were running on 2 legs, spastically waving their claws at us, every limb on their body seemingly twitching. Without hesitation, Chris and I started to use our weapons against them. They got around 10 meters away before the last one collapsed to the ground motionless. More monstrous screams came at us from behind, nearly upon us. Too many to specifically say. Chris and I began to fire uncontrollably into the mob of creatures as they stampeded towards us. Chris was firing at the ones in front of me, as was I. I realized too late that Chris's actions were foolish. The monsters poured onto him, covering him from view. He screamed. He screamed in pain, firing wildly into the crowd of creatures. I managed to take down enough of them that they started to back up, realizing that I was the threat. They crawled back over the hills and craters, revealing Chris's body, motionless, on the ground. I'd stared at him for a minute or so, contemplating what to do when a much deeper, groggy shriek echoed through the air. I turned to see a creature larger than any of the others, slowly striding on 2 legs across the lunar surface towards me. Its claws were noticeably longer and its teeth were curled inwards. I switched my focus from Chris to the monster, and just as I did, it stopped advancing. It turned to the right and started walking towards the horizon. It stopped, lifted up its nightmarish claw, and slashed into nothing. But as it did this, what I can only describe as a rip in the air formed. It kept striking until the rip turned into a hole. It disappeared into the hole. I stood there confused. I heard screams. Screams from humans and ruined electronics. For a split second, a message appeared. Error 0001, power removed, was displayed in front of me. And then everything went dark. I waited a few moments before taking off my helmet and saw what I can only describe as absolute carnage. Creatures with chunks blown out of them were scattered everywhere across the room, surrounded by pools of yellow ooze. I looked to my feet to see Chris lying on the ground with various lacerations littering his body. Crouching down, I took off his helmet and realized he was dead. The shock of my best friend's death was interrupted by the walls opening and more monsters surging out. Instinctively, I raised my blaster and fired. It worked just as well as it had in the game. Dropping them as they came out of the hole kept them at bay. Finally, they stopped coming. I stared at the gap in the wall and the more emerged from the darkness beyond the glass. I looked around the room to notice that the black and red striped door had been ripped apart. Realizing that this was my only exit, I moved and walked through the remains of the door. I was now in some sort of control room. Bald male bodies were scattered across the room with blood covering most of the floor. All the electronics in the room had been destroyed, all bearing huge claw marks. The silence of the room was interrupted by movement behind me. The largest of the creatures emerged from a dark hallway, hunched over to fit through the gap, bearing teeth and claws as it approached, with the same deep, groggy scream I had heard before. Without even questioning my actions, I pulled the blaster out and sprayed across the room at the horrifying creature. It cowered into the darkness from which it had come, and I heard it scamper down the hallways until the sound faded to nothing. I walked towards the darkness, blaster drawn, and was swallowed by it. I felt my way through the black hallways and up the staircase for what felt like an eternity, occasionally feeling long scratches in the walls left by the monster. Low growls and metallic bangs echoed through the unexplored corridors. My curiosity was cut short when I turned a corner to see light coming from a smashed window high above the floor. The wall and floor was littered with long scratch marks, yellow ooze, and broken glass. I moved up the staircase to come into a small room filled with blasters and a slightly open door. Peeking through, I saw the woman who had directed Chris and I into this horrible mess. I burst through, aimed my blaster, and held the trigger until she was unrecognizable. My mind numb with the pure rage of my best friend's death. From nowhere, more bald men came swarming up to the scene. I stood there with cuts, bruises, yellow ooze, and blood covering my body as they all blankly stared at me. Shoving through the crowd, I ran out of the arcade, blaster in hand. That was 21 years ago, and the bald, scared men have been pursuing me ever since. Every once in a while, I think about Chris, how I'd spent the time in that game, how it could have played out so differently. If not for him, we both would have died in that horrible place. I've tried telling others, but I gave up. Everyone thinks I'm crazy. I went out west to the coast, but it doesn't matter how far I go. They always seem to catch up to me. I see them walking on the streets and restaurants. I even see them on TV. I swear one of them looks like Chris. Sometimes at night I hear the shrieks of that monster in the distance. I feel that my time is coming to an end. And as I write this, there's a bald, scared man sitting under the light of a bus stop across the street, blankly staring at my house. I can hear scratching noises at my back door, along with the occasional low, groggy moan. I'm gonna die here.
Yep. Crazy.
Batshit loony.
That's cool, though. I like that one.
I haven't done that in a while, so I had no time to prep anything, ladies and gentlemen. So I just pulled something off a creepypasta, and there you go. It's a creepypasta kind of
subscribe
night.
again.
Why? What?
That was my thought, Chris. They live.
They live.
You see them everywhere.
1994 isn't 21 years ago. Unsubscribed. It was whenever this was written. A rip in space time. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh man, we've got the week in review tomorrow with the Rooster Day Bob and the
Yay.
lady Arwen Avalon.
Yay.
I will be on Mackinac. I've got a stream on Mackinac at 11 a.m. tomorrow, and that's going to be it for me until Monday.
Huh?
So
I got you beat.
no late show, unless Sunday I can make it over to a Dega stream.
There you go. Yeah, normally I do a chapter review, but since I finished up another book this week, I have a guest who's going to be interviewing off of questions, whether in the chat. So if you guys have anything about writing or my books or anything, 5:30 Central on my channel Sunday, and we'll be going over pretty much anything in writing. It may last 5 minutes, may last an hour and a half. It just depends on how it goes. Also, Nick Weiser wants me on his channel tomorrow night, so I don't know what time that is, but whenever he's on, I'm supposed to be there. We'll see if that's still true, but the invite is fairly recent, so we shall see. What's wrong with that face?
Lady Miss said, invite the bald guy inside. It's easier to dispose of the body behind closed doors. Wow. Wow. I'm just like... Wow. All right.
It's good that you call her the guardian of the void because, there's some darkness there. It's good that she's the gatekeeper.
That's right. Man. Holy crap. Okay, so
I'd appreciate it. You guys want to think about it Sunday at 5:30 Central. Show up to my channel if you want anything on writing stuff. You have questions, that's the time to ask. And who knows, maybe we'll get into healthcare or something else. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Haven't done one in a long time.
So I haven't talked to Chris about this yet. I'll give you guys a little sneak peek at something real quick. I've got to work with Chris on this.
You got in trouble with the law last time you did a sneak peek.
Oh, I know. I'm not. There's nothing to show you guys yet, but I want to explain something. Okay, so I've got some peeps that want to build me a arcade shell. I've got all the stuff to go in it.
Nice.
But it's going to be like a shell for a arcade machine. What I would really love to do, and I've got to work with Chris on this. I've got to work with a couple of people because I'm gonna need all of your help, all of Valhalla. You guys want to be this. The control deck, I would very much like it to be like the way we do the comic book roundtable, where everyone's on it. So you've got like Mark as the Incredible Hulk. You've got a Degas Hand. You've got the Rooster Day Bob. You've got, cool. Everybody on the control deck.
It's not hard to do.
It shouldn't be. But I know we're going to do the dragons on one side, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to get them put Mexican Iron Man on the other side. So we'll have the Loki dragon, the green one, the green fire dragon on one side, Mexican Iron Man on the other, but then everyone on the control deck. Cool. So everyone we can get on that control deck. So it'd be like Valhalla's own little arcade machine.
Just have the hand underneath the start button.
We can do that. So
that seems appropriate. Slap the start button.
Player one, the because there's a button to like do quarters,
right?
So we can have the hand by the quarter button.
Whatever looks cool, but I thought that'd be fun.
We'll figure it out.
And you're gonna have to take a picture of it when it's done and let everybody see it.
Oh yeah, there'll be video. There's gonna be video because this thing's gonna be crazy.
Awesome.
There's no Pat. There's no one's paying to get on. No one's paying to be on it. It's just going to be, I'm going to try and get as many people as I can. So I'm trying to get as many people on there, some kind of avatar or logo, something. So.
Which was something I always appreciated back in the day. You think of how many people played those machines and how many little kids would get on the little standing stools and slam the controls and the buttons and everything. And they held up. That was some solid engineering back in the day.
Indeed. Who is doing the graphics? What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get Chris to give me like a prototype, and it'll just be something like we do for the round table, and then I'll give that to them, and they'll up the graphics and do what they do with it. But it's gonna be a while. It's gonna be a couple months. It's gonna take them a couple of months to make the show and everything. So it's gonna be a while. But hopefully, because Chris Persia has made some really cool things for the comic book roundtable.
He's good at that stuff.
If he's willing to do something like that, then, and we have plenty of time to do this. So I'm going to talk about this a little bit more and more. See if you have something. If you have, just send it to Chris Persia. Let him know, hey, I want to be in the arcade thing. This will be for the control deck. I'm going to try and get them. I want the marquee to say "Light the Fires, Valhalla." So that's what's going to go above the screen. So it'll be a light up marquee.
Silver dragons on either side or something.
Yeah, something like that. Yes.
On the cabinet, giant silver dragons. That sounds awesome. Making me jealous.
All right, we're going to get out of here. Thank you guys so very much for hanging out with me and Adega. Thank you guys very, very much.
And don't play laser tag in the basement. You're going to break the time-space continuum.
And no, bad. Very bad. Take care, everybody. Be excellent to each other. Always speak Brenda Enter, and we'll see you tomorrow morning.
See ya.
If I can find the exit button. Oh, no.